New mothers face many challenges, from changing diapers to burping their little ones. But one that might be a little difficult to figure out on your own is what you should eat while breastfeeding your child. Dr. Lewis First has your answers.
Since this week is World Breastfeeding Week, breastfeeding mothers have been asking me lots of questions about what they should be eating to ensure they and their baby stay healthy when they breastfeed. Well, let me see if I can share some information on this important topic. Breastfeeding mothers need at least 300 to 500 additional calories per day to meet their own energy needs and produce enough milk to grow their babies. What kind of foods can generate those calories? Ideally, fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains and proteins, and certainly dairy products rich in calcium. In fact, mothers don't have to drink milk to make milk, but they do need to stay hydrated to take in enough calcium. Mothers also need foods rich in iron, omega-3 fatty acids, and folate to ensure good brain growth of baby even after the baby's born. As to vitamins, if a mom is vegetarian, B12 needs to be added to their breastfeeding diet, as well as vitamin D, although all babies who breastfeed can also benefit from extra vitamin D, as recommended by your baby's healthcare professional. If a breastfeeding mother's diet is lacking in any significant nutrient, a multivitamin might be recommended by your doctor. Mothers should check food labels to be sure their diet consists of the right nutrients when it comes to helping their baby grow. What about a mother eating a food that a baby might be allergic to? Well, it's rare for a breastfed baby to show an allergic reaction while exclusively breastfeeding to something mother eats. So mothers should not avoid eating what they might normally eat unless they have a known food allergy. Only if allergic symptoms arise in a baby, such as difficulty breathing, diarrhea, or a skin rash, should a food be eliminated from mother's diet. Sometimes moms may find their babies are crankier after they've eaten a food, such as cabbage or something spicy. This is not an allergy, but a sensitivity, and by reducing the intake of this food in mother's diet, usually a child's disposition improves. Caffeine can also affect a baby's ability to sleep or even their mood. So limit the coffee intake to no more than 1 or 2 cups a day, and drink it as well after rather than before you breastfeed. Hopefully, tips like these will be good food for thought when it comes to knowing more about what to eat and to drink if you're breastfeeding your baby, and I hope you are. This is pediatrician Dr. Lewis First from the University of Vermont Children's Hospital, reminding you to always be first with your kids.
Time now 6:21, and we're looking live from the city of Paris, where the sun is shining over there too. We'll be right back with updates on the status of the Seine and a medal ceremony happening today that's long overdue.
Welcome back, 624. We have a nice view from the Northeast Kingdom for you, looking from the top of Burke Mountain towards Willoughby Gap. And you can even see the wind turbines near Sheffield on the left side of your screen. Little bit of fog you may have to dodge for the morning commute. As you can see, it's very patchy in the NEK, and we're expecting that in other places as well, especially in the mountains. Otherwise, sunny in northern New York today, temperatures in the 70s. Light breeze out of the north and west, keeping the humidity levels low. 70s in northern Vermont and New Hampshire as well. Couple of clouds and showers early today to the south, but sun returning for the late morning and afternoon. Lauren?
We love our sun. Ben, thank you. There are 5 days left to go in the Paris Olympics, with plenty of big events still on the calendar. Hearst Olympic correspondent Deirdre Fitzpatrick joins us live in Paris. Deirdre, there are some doubts about whether a couple of the swimming events will go on as scheduled.
So, Lauren, it's weird. The Seine continues to be this major storyline. So today, the marathon swimmers did get the go-ahead to go ahead and practice in the Seine. Yesterday, they did not. So the issue has, again, to do with the bacteria levels. The deal is they're using a longer stretch of the river to do the marathon swimming or open water swimming than they used last week in the triathlon. So they have different readings that they take from different parts of the river. And yesterday, they just weren't good enough. Today, they're okay. The question will be, will it be okay for marathon swimming, which is scheduled to happen tomorrow and Friday? Those swimmers, by the way, do 6.2 miles in the Seine.
Wow, we'll have to see what happens. And Deirdre, we've seen plenty of medal ceremonies at these games, but there's one today that will be a little different.
It will be a little different, and it's a little overdue. So it'll happen in Champions Park, which is right here behind me. And it's going to be for some figure skaters who won in Beijing 2 years ago, but didn't get their medals because of a doping scandal that happened at the time. So no medals were given in the team category, the team figure skating competition, because of this doping scandal, and involved a Russian athlete. So today they've brought them back. So they've got Team USA getting the gold, Team Japan getting the silver, and then actually that Russian skater ended up not getting disqualified. So the Russians did end up getting the bronze in that particular category. This is kind of the best do-over ever, though, because Champions Park is a vibe here. Tens of thousands of people. They've got a catwalk for the athletes, DJ. So, 2 years ago, it was the pandemic. Nobody was in the stands. Here, they get the full Olympic party.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And before you go, Deirdre, give us our daily update on the overall medal count.
Yes. U.S. still at the top of the podium with 86 medals. China's in second place with 59, and then France is in third with 48. There are 24 medal events going on today in Paris.
All right, Deirdre Fitzpatrick live for us from Paris. Thank you for that, Deirdre. Still ahead here, taking out the trash made easier. We've got all the best products to make your trash day fun on this morning's Consumer Report.
Live, local, late breaking.
Right now at 6:30, the Democratic ticket officially decided, why lawmakers in our region are feeling optimistic about the outcome now that Harris has chosen her VP. And watch your speed and slow down for workers. The operation from New York State Police to catch drivers going too fast through work zones. Plus, a new green space coming to the city of South Burlington. The latest update on the project neighbors have been asking for.
And all eyes on Debbie as the moisture starts to come north. How fast it gets here and how much rain to expect, all coming up in First Warning Weather.
NBC 5 News Today starts now.
Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us on your Wednesday. I'm Lauren Granada, burning off that fog on the roads. Marissa's got an update on that. And stepping outside this morning, gorgeous sunshine to start our day off, Ben.
Yes, I am on a sunrise collection duty this morning, Lauren, looking at a bunch of cameras and gathering some viewer photos to share with you on this Wednesday morning. And I just got this gorgeous one in from Pam on the Whiteface Memorial Highway. So a beautiful Adirondack sunrise, and you can see a few patches of fog maybe snaking in between some of the mountains. You may have to deal with that for the morning commute. Otherwise, we are looking good across the region. I'd say 95% of us are dry right now. We're just watching a few lingering showers in far southern Vermont, basically from Bennington to Brattleboro, but it looks like they're finally starting to wrap up. So trending towards sunshine even in southern areas early today. 40s in the mountains, 50s for most of us, close to 60 near Lake Champlain. More clouds and showers around, keeping temperatures a little less chilly, upper 50s, low 60s to the south. Sunny today, highs well into the 70s, light breeze out of the northwest, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Marissa?
Well, Ben, we are noticing still some of that fog into central Vermont, but we're really starting to see it improve, which is good news, especially at the State House on the camera there. We can finally see that. We'll take you down to the road surface, though, because, of course, that's what matters most for your morning commute. Berlin, still noticing some of that fog creeping close to the road there on 89, but you can see travel is flowing quite nicely, which is good news. Here's a look at your travel times on 89, 32 minutes from Montpelier to Burlington, in a half hour from Swanton to Burlington. Lauren?
Marissa, thank you. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris and her newly announced running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, returned to the campaign trail. The duo held a rally for the first time together last night in Pennsylvania as Harris introduces voters to the new Democratic Party ticket. NBC's Bree Jackson has the latest from Washington.
The new Democratic ticket taking the stage in Pennsylvania.
We are the underdogs in this race, but we have the momentum.
Vice President Kamala Harris tapping Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. The 60-year-old former teacher is a veteran of the National Guard, gun owner, and known for his progressive policies.
In Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and their personal choices that they make. Even if we wouldn't make the same choice for ourselves, there's a golden rule. Mind your own damn business.
Political experts tell me his Midwestern appeal brings a strong balance to the ticket.
He's got a dad profile, an everyday guy sort of profile that counterbalances really interestingly, nicely, Harris's cosmopolitan sort of coastal elite vibe that stands out.
But according to a recent poll, many Americans say they've never heard of Walz.
I have no idea who that man is, but I'm going to do research.
The Trump campaign is painting a grim picture of the duo in this new ad.
Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They're failed, weak, and dangerously liberal.
J.D. Vance is launching similar attacks.
The biggest problem with the Tim Walz pick, it's not Tim Walz himself, it's what it says about Kamala Harris. That when given an opportunity, she will bend the knee to the most radical elements of her party.
Both campaigns are hitting battleground states as Democrats seek to build on momentum while Republicans look to regain it. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Vermont Senator Peter Welch is reacting to the news on social media, saying, quote, as governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz passed the state's biggest tax cut, implemented universal school meals, banned conversion therapy, codified reproductive rights, lowered insulin costs to $35 a month, banned junk fees, and more. He'll make an excellent vice president. New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand echoing the sentiment, saying she is, quote, proud to support him as our vice presidential nominee. New York State Police is teaming up with the state's Department of Transportation to conduct an undercover work zone traffic safety operation. If you drove through Peru yesterday, you may have spotted workers taking part in Operation Hard Hat. Troopers disguised themselves as crew workers, attempting to catch drivers speeding or on their phones driving through a work zone. Last year, more than 130,000 work zone speed violations were issued across the state. Police and the DOT want to ensure that safe driving is happening in construction sites.
This is an initiative that we conduct throughout work zone season all across the state to try to bring awareness to the traveling public through enforcement and education. Just to bring about awareness in terms of all the dangers that the workers face out here with the DOT maintenance crews and the contractors that are working on the highways.
Might make you look twice at construction workers next time. The operation led to 50 tickets being handed out, and we're told this won't be the last Operation Hard Hat that we see this year. This afternoon, you could have an opportunity to weigh in on the new juvenile facility being built in Vergennes. Back in May, the mayor announced the state had chosen their city to house the new facility. It would be the first center for youth offenders since the state closed the Woodside Rehab Center in Colchester. Right now, the state does not have a designated building to house those minors. There have been public meetings about placing the facility there, and some neighbors are against it. But Vermont DCF has made it clear the Center for Juveniles 12 to 18 will not be a detention center. It will take a more therapeutic approach instead. Today's meeting is at noon, and you can find the link for it online. Time now 6:36. The transfer station in St. Johnsbury is back open this morning for you to throw out any trash, recycling, or debris. There is a temporary drop-off point for hazardous waste on Western Avenue, and any specific flood debris, meaning anything that isn't hazardous or metal, can be put in a dumpster labeled flood debris on Cliff and Portland streets. If the dumpster is full, do not leave your debris on the ground. These dumpsters are emptied regularly, so hang on to anything you need to dispose of and check back later.
Now, NBC5 First Warning Weather, the area's certified most accurate forecast.
6:37, a nice day on tap with temperatures well into the 70s, lots of sunshine, breeze out of the northwest, keeping the humidity levels nice and low. So very little to complain about today. A good day to get any preparations done ahead of what comes in on Friday into Saturday. That's Tropical Storm Debbie. No, it doesn't look too impressive right now, but it's not really the wind that we're concerned about. It's barely hanging on to tropical storm status. As it comes to the north, you will notice it picks up in forward speed, and it brings some rain in, crossing right over the middle of our region. So we'll show you more about where the rain is most steady and where the flood risk is highest coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren?
All right, Ben, we'll see you then. Also still ahead here, mosquitoes in our region testing positive for a concerning virus. What you should know to keep yourself and your pets protected.
Live, local, late-breaking news with Lauren Granada, Adrian Pastor, Anna Goober, road conditions with meteorologist Marissa Vigevany, and your certified most accurate forecast with meteorologist Ben Frechette. This is NBC5 News Today.
Welcome back. Neighbors in South Burlington have been asking for a city green, and in 1 week, they'll get an update on the project. NBC5's Anna Goober spoke with the people leading the project. Do they have good news for those neighbors, Anna?
Yeah, Lauren, they sure do. Leaders in South Burlington say they've been talking about a city green for a while, but they really got the ball rolling this summer when they hired consultants to find out what people really want out of the space and where they want to see it in the city.
I think it would be really nice to just have an open area that people can just hang out and relax and just have more fun things to do.
A common spot for concerts or presentations or speeches or assemblies, things like that.
That's the kind of feedback leaders in South Burlington have been getting from people in the community. That's left them searching for where to put a green space in the city.
I think it would be great. I think it would bring a lot of people together and open up space to have a bunch of different things that the community can come together.
South Burlington's Community Development Director, Alana Blanchard, says green spaces have remained a central hub for events like festivals, concerts, and other gatherings in towns and cities across Vermont. And now she says it's time for South Burlington to have one of its own.
There's been sort of this upswelling of interest and desire in it. And so, we've begun the process with a study to examine where such a green would be and what it would look like.
This summer, the city hired contractors to do a study and get input from residents, assessing potential spots for the space in the city's downtown area.
Before approaching private property owners to purchase land, we wanted to make sure that we understood what the community was looking for in a city green and also how much space we would need.
Now those contractors will present their findings to City Council so the city can begin moving plans into action. And that presentation will take place next Wednesday night at 6:30. It's happening at the South Burlington City Hall Auditorium, and anyone is invited to come out and hear these consultants' findings and weigh in on the plans before the city moves forward with any decisions. Lauren?
All right, Anna, thank you for that. Is trash day giving you a headache? Coming up, we've got all the products to make your waste less wasteful in this morning's Consumer Report.
Now, NBC5's first warning road conditions.
6:46 on your Wednesday morning, and traffic is flowing without issue at this time, but you might encounter some fog here and there, especially in central and northern Vermont at this hour. But we do have some construction to tell you about, leading to a lane closure today on Vermont 116 in Middlebury. Starting within the next 10-20 minutes or so, there will likely be starting to put that closure in place. This is near Dow Farm Lane and between Quarry Road there, so likely some delays at least for the morning and evening commute, but no standstill traffic to talk about yet. Lauren.
Okay, Marissa, thank you. A warning for neighbors in northern Vermont. Mosquitoes in both Grand Isle and Franklin counties have tested positive for a potentially deadly virus. Tripoli mostly impacts horses. However, Vermont's Department of Health says that people can also get it if they're bitten by an infected mosquito. The most recent cases were in 2012 when 2 people died from the virus. Last summer, mosquitoes in the same area tested positive too.
It does mean there is a heightened risk to people because we are finding the virus, which can cause severe illness in humans, in mosquitoes. Not only mosquitoes that just bite birds, but we've also found them in mosquitoes that can bite mammals. So that means they can also bite humans and infect humans.
Scientists say most people who are infected will have mild symptoms or none at all, but sometimes Tripoli can